Hi everybody, I'm Bill Evans for Peghead Nation, and today we're going to review two great banjo models made and marketed by my musical hero Sonny Osborne. These are the Osborne Chief banjos, and since 1988, Sonny has offered these banjos direct sales only. You can't find these instruments in the stores, and they are assembled by the great Russell Springs, Kentucky luthier Frank Neat and his son Ricky Neat. Folks have tried to make replicas of the pre-war flathead Gibson master tones for decades now, and there are lots of good options available in that regard these days. But anything with Sonny Osborne and Frank Neat's name on it in terms of the quality control and the manufacturer, it's worth checking out. I've got two different models here with me today. I've got a maple model that is a couple of years old that is built to be a replica of Sonny's famous flathead granata that he played for many years towards the latter part of his career. And in a few minutes, we'll take a look at the Mahogany Rocky Top banjo. So what we've got here is a neck made by Frank Neat and the Resonator. The banjo rim is made by Tony Pass. The tone ring, which is an important part of the engine of any banjo, it's a flathead ring made by Bill Blaylock, and his name is associated with some of the finest aftermarket rings on the market. Otherwise, we've got a setup that's very, very much like the old pre-war Gibson master tone. So a presto tailpiece. Frank puts his own bridge on here, which really works well with his instruments. The feet are a little bit wider than a lot of bridges that you'll find on the market. We have a Remo head, 5-star tuners. Of course, you can put some Keith pegs on there if you like. And let's take a look at the back of the banjo here. Really beautiful instrument. One of the options that really is standard on this instrument is something that we call a speed neck, and that is where the finish, a light finish, is applied to the back of the neck of the banjo and then taken off. The feel for the player is really quite nice in terms of playability. The wood is protected. There is a sealant inside the wood that will keep it bad things from happening as the banjo ages, but lots of folks like this speed neck option. And then with any Granada style banjo, we have the fancy maple Resonator. The sound of these instruments is great. I've played quite a few of them in the last, since Sonny was making these in 1988. We've got a lot of a definite Gibson-esque kind of sound. Throaty, wonderful high ends, as you would expect from a maple banjo. But nice growly low ends as well. As I indicated earlier, you can only get these directly from Sonny Osborne. Check out his website, sonnyosborne.com. And I think the price of these instruments, at least as of August 2015, is around the neighborhood of $43.95. That comes with a case of deluxe Elliott capo and even a set of Osborne Chief fingerpicks made by Dean Hoffmeyer of Richmond, Virginia. Here's another little bit of music on this instrument, and then we'll switch over to the Mahogany Rocky Top banjo. Now, this is the Mahogany version of the Osborne Chief, called the Rocky Top banjo. It's got Rocky Top written right there. Here's Sonny Osborne's name, and there is the Rocky Top. And this is the banjo. This is a replica of the Gibson pre-war flathead RB3 that Sonny Osborne used for much of his career before he got the Granada in the 1970s, and he recorded Rocky Top and many of his early hits on it. I asked Sonny about the original RB3 and how he came to have it, and this is a great story. He texted me here just a moment ago. He said that the original RB3 he bought, I'm just going to read you the text, in April 1956. I wasn't even born yet. From the Dayton Institute of Music, owner was Russell Moore for $250. Now, a pre-war flathead these days, original 5-string, would go for 6 figures easily. The banjo was financed in his mother's name. Payments were $13 a month. She made most of the payments herself. The banjo was bought new from Pop's Music Store on East 3rd Street in Dayton by Herschel Measle. there you go. I can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mentioned before that Frank and his son Ricky Neat are the team of folks that work with Sonny to put these instruments together along with Bill Blaylock. One of the differences with the new Chiefs is that there is a different tone ring design from Bill Blaylock, almost totally different, kind of harking back to some of the tone ring ideas that were used in some of the open back banjos of the early 20th century. We'll compare that in a moment. But another thing that is really, really remarkable about this replica of an old Gibson banjo is that Frank and his son Ricky go to lots of pains to make the feel of the neck and the dimensions, the string spacing, the dimensions of the neck, a very, very accurate representation of an old Gibson neck. And if you've ever played one of those old banjos, you'll be surprised to find that the necks are oftentimes not all that substantial, enough to kind of keep the banjo in tune and keep the integrity of the neck going, but very, very playable neck. And that's what this Osborne Chief has. Now, a mahogany banjo is going to have a different sound than a Granada-style banjo, which is gold-plated and maple. Mahogany tends to be a little bit more kind of in your face. If you associate the sound of J.D. Crowe with a mahogany banjo, Bela Fleck also plays a mahogany banjo. These days, Noam Pikelny and Sonny Osborne for the latter part of his career, as well as Earl Scruggs and myself, played primarily Granada-style instruments. It's subjective, and the setup of the instrument, how tight you make your head, what kind of bridge you use, what kind of strings, the tailpiece placement, that more than anything else will determine the sound of a fine banjo. But the wood of the neck does indeed make a difference, whether it's maple or mahogany, and it's hard to generalize, but the maple is a little bit more immediate, the Granada perhaps a little more depth and a little bit more sweetness. Let's listen to what this instrument sounds like, and again, this has the new Blaylock tone ring that Sonny is now using in these Chief banjos. A little bit of Lonesome Road Blues here for you. When I'm testing a banjo, I always like to play something really simple in the open position. So let's try No Mother or Dad, a classic solo from Earl Scruggs. And one more all the way up the neck here. There you have it. Here is the Mahogany Rocky Top Osborne Chief banjo. Now let's actually open up both banjos by taking the resonator off, and let's just compare the two tone rings to close this review out. I've taken the resonator off of both the mahogany and the maple Osborne Chiefs to show you some of the differences in the tone rings. Since Sonny first started making these instruments in 1988, he's gone through a couple of different tone ring choices. The early maple Chiefs have a ring made by Steve Huber, and then there are a couple different variations of the Bill Blaylock ring. The latest variation that is going on the Osborne Chiefs that you order today, whether you order the maple, mahogany, or walnut models, is a new kind of tone ring made by Bill Blaylock. And of course, he is a genius. He really knows how to manipulate the different metal formulas to get a sound that replicates that pre-war Gibson flathead sound. This one, I'm not sure of the formula itself, but it comes on this mahogany banjo unplated, so it's got a gold appearance, but it's a different shape tone ring. You can kind of see that here. It has a contour going up and really a different kind of option, and it makes these particular banjos sound great, to the extent that a lot of folks who have an older Chief with the older Blaylock, more conventional ring design, have swapped them out for this newer ring. So just keep that in mind. If you're finding a used Chief on the market or a new one, the tone ring is going to be different, and it does contribute to the sound. So here is the appearance of the new Blaylock ring, and then I'm going to lean over and pick up the older maple Granada style Osborne Chief that I have here, and hopefully you'll be able to see the difference. So see, really a much different tone ring, fewer holes drilled in, and a different contour completely. There's no question that that's going to change the sound of the instrument. These are both great sounding instruments, both feeling like old Gibson flathead banjos, which is exactly what you want when you're shopping for an instrument like this. Thanks for taking the time to check out these Osborne Chief banjos, the Rocky Top Mahogany Banjo and the Granada Replica Maple. I'm Bill Evans for Peghead Nation, and I'll see you soon. Keep on picking, everybody.